I touched Fatima's forehead. She was cold. I couldn't imagine the pain she'd been through in the past few days in her life. I leaned over and kissed her forehead. I wasn't even sure why. It just seemed like the thing to do. She gave a weak smile and then fell back asleep. I stood up and spied Elena a few feet away. She was watching, her arms crossed, her brow furrowed. I turned to talk to her, but she spun on her heels and marched away. I wondered if she recognized Fatima. How much did she know about the horrible underbelly of the Great Mission? The question could wait. The other grinders couldn't. I called an emergency meeting. Elena didn't show up. But time was very tight, so I started without her. I asked everyone to sit down while I explained what I'd found and the urgency of getting back. Then I stood up. Okay, everyone, let's get the rest of the grinders. I expected the others to rush to their diggers, but they sat there on the floor staring at me. Finally, Pavel raised his hand. Yes? I asked, pointing at him. You have a question? He nodded. Why? Why what? I said, confused. Pavel shrugged. Why should we get them? My jaw dropped. You think we should just leave them to die? Pavel shrugged again. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just saying there are some questions we need to ask before we allow a bunch of strangers into our camp. Jimmy and Maria nodded. Like what? I said. Well, food for one thing, Pavel said. We've been rationing what we have, and adding more mouths isn't going to make that easier. But we just stole a bunch of food and water from the silo, and we'll go back and get more. Jimmy frowned. If we have to have even more raids, it just increases the chances of getting caught by the landers. What are you saying? Jimmy stared at me. I'm saying that Pavel makes a good point. Is helping them worth the risk? We cannot let anyone else die who doesn't have to. I tried to sound as firm as possible, but I could hear the tremor in my voice. We can't turn our backs on them. Pavel shook his head. But people do that all the time. I watched a movie once about a shipwreck. The lifeboat was full, but there were still people in the water who tried to climb in too. The people in the boat wouldn't let them. It sounds horrible, but if they had let them in, the boat would have capsized and everyone would have drowned. This isn't a lifeboat. No one can sink in a mine. It was an analogy, Jimmy said, and I think Pavel makes a lot of sense. But these are kids just like us. I could feel my heart sinking deep into my chest. How could Pavel and Jimmy feel this way? How could they look at life so coldly? Pavel leaned forward. What do we even know about these grinders? Maybe they're nothing like us. You said they grew up in slums and stuff. Maybe Fatima is here to spy on us. Maybe they'll steal our food. They might kill us in our sleep and take all our stuff, Jimmy said. Yeah, Pavel said, nodding. Maybe that's why they were in a cage. Maybe it was a jail cell. You already unlocked their cages, Maria asked. Of course, I said. Then they're free. Let them save themselves. We did. But they're kids. When someone needs help, you help. Otherwise, we're no different from the landers. They just stared at me, frowning. We can use them as cannon fodder. It was Elena. She walked into the room without me noticing. I didn't like what she was saying now, but it got others to turn away from me for a second. What do you mean? Jimmy asked. Elena stepped into the middle of the circle. I'm saying they can be useful. They probably have a pretty good sense of the tunnels. We can use them as guides for now. And if it comes to a fight, we could send them out in front. That's what armies have done for centuries. Use the least valuable people up front. I tried to catch Elena's attention to see if she could really be suggesting something so brutal, but she refused to meet my eyes. I watched as Jimmy nodded, Maria and Pavel too. Elena continued, Bottom line is that we can't just leave them to die. What if the landers find them, or they find the landers? Then they turn on us. They know we are here, and now they can go anywhere. Now that they are free, it's riskier to leave them. Elena turned and looked right at me. Was she blaming me for helping them? I couldn't leave them caged up, I said. Elena waved her hand to cut me off. The clear objective now is to minimize the damage and turn it to our advantage. Of course that means we do have to get them. She paused a minute. If that's what our fearless leader thinks is best. I couldn't speak. I turned away. You do want to go get them, right? Elena said. I nodded. Elena clapped her hands. Good. We're agreed. So let's get in the diggers and go get them. Jimmy and the others got up and walked out of the room, avoiding looking at me. I stood there, my eyes closed, anger and confusion rising in my throat. Elena looked at the floor. You better suit up too, Nichols. The more diggers we have, the faster we can get them back here. I looked up as Elena marched out of the room. I slammed my hand hard against the wall and followed her.